All right, I was doing some research into the Oblivion Remaster, but trying to dive into some of the specific math. And I was looking at the UESP, and there is some good information on there about some of the changes within the game, but it doesn't go into the formulas. It doesn't really talk about what formulas are the same or which ones are different. So I wanted to talk about that. For example, health is not calculated the same way. In vanilla Oblivion, you got 2 health per endurance, and then upon level up, you had 1/10 of your health rounded down gained onto your health pool. Now, the formula I found based on these in-game numbers is that you get, well, your health is equal to 2/3 of your strength plus 4/3 of your endurance plus 1/10 of your endurance per level up. So at level 6, if you look right here, it says times my level, that's 6 minus 1 because I've had 5 level ups. Those 5 level ups will give me 4 health each time, so 20 health. This whole thing rounds down. Now in my research, I actually tried 2 different formulas. The one up here is seeing, does each one of those things round down? Does my 2/3 of my strength health bonus round down and my 4/3 round down? Turns out it does not. One of my stream viewers told me that level 26 with 100 health, or with 100 strength and 100 endurance, they had 450 health. And then all of these other ones are ones that I checked myself using console commands in game, leveling myself, changing my strength and endurance. And he said that he had 450 health and I had 288 health at level 18 with 100 strength and 73 endurance. So I'll repeat that one more time. Health is equal to 2/3 of your strength plus 4/3 of your endurance plus 1/10 of your endurance per level up. And the end result rounds down. So each point of endurance is twice as valuable for health as each point of strength. 2/3 versus 4/3. It's twice as valuable. But for example, at 100 strength and 100 endurance, that's 66.6 health from strength, 133.3 from endurance. That's 200. That's the same as 100 endurance in vanilla Oblivion as your base health. But now the health gains from endurance are retroactive. So if you're level 31, that means you've had 30 level ups and you get to 100 endurance. It doesn't matter if you took a long time to get there. You'll have 300 extra health from those level ups, or 500 health at level 30 because 300 extra health plus the 200 from your stats. When I was playing Vanilla Oblivion recently, I would get around 430 health. That was on my warrior who started with high endurance and got it to 100 pretty quickly. So I think in the remaster, you're going to have about 50 to 100 more health late game, possibly more. If when you played, you didn't level endurance very quickly with +3s and +5s, you might notice you have 150 or 200 more health than you used to by late game. So that's the health formula and how it works in the Oblivion remaster. Next, we got to talk about the damage formula. It's identical except fatigue is removed. So this is the one I made here, this top one, for the vanilla game. And 300% fatigue is, if you fortify fatigue, it can give you bonus damage. You normally just obviously have 100% fatigue, which makes you do normal damage. And then when you ran out of fatigue, you did half damage in the base game. Now fatigue, it doesn't seem to affect your damage unless you have no fatigue. And it's not very easy to calculate what exactly that does. But at like 70% fatigue, it's not really affecting your damage. There seems to be like steps, and I can't exactly figure it out. But I did some research with in-game numbers, and it looks like the research of these in-game numbers backs up this same formula. So for example, I had a fine iron claymore that has 13 base damage. If I had 100 strength and 100 blade, the displayed damage in-game is 14. So that lines up. And the displayed damage of my silver dagger, which has a base damage of 9, was 10, and that lines up. So it always, this is without rounding, but in game it rounds. So we're looking at this top green number here. Here I'll make it kind of like a teal color. The teal color is the one that is displayed in game. So then if I have 0 blade skill, well, the displayed in game would be 1 damage for my silver dagger, and for my claymore it would be 2 damage. With 0 strength but 100 blade, it would be 8 damage for the silver claymore and 6 for the silver dagger. So I checked them all. They all line up. They match exactly with the original Oblivion formulas. I've also had a lot of new people to my channel, so I wanted to remind people of one thing about this formula since it's the same formula we're using. The best weapons in the game get up to like 29, and strength is useful. Obviously, you want to level strength, but don't Don't undervalue blade. In fact, if you get to an enchantment table and you can fortify your strength, let's say I have 70, oops, ignore that, 70 strength, I hit numlock, 70 strength and 70 blade, and you think, should I fortify my strength 30 with my enchantments or fortify my blade 30 with enchantments? Well, if you look here, this is saying I have 20 final damage. If I fortify my strength, that damage would go up to 23. Pretty useful. But if I fortify my blade, it will go up to 27, more than 4 points, more than double the value from that blade. And as you get to, you can also improve your weapon durability with a high armorer skill. So we're comparing 22 at 70 blade to 31. That's almost a 50% damage increase going from 70 blade to 100 blade skill. But going from 70 strength to 100 strength is only 22 to 25 damage. The difference is nice. You want to get your strength up, but don't waste your enchantment slots fortifying your strength. First, fortify your weapon skill. Each point is about 3 times as valuable as strength. Now, obviously, that depends on other factors. Like if you have no strength, the first point is valuable. But essentially, the way you should think about it is 1 blade skill is as valuable as 3 strength attribute. However, strength does give carry weight, which is nice, and strength does increase your maximum fatigue. So there's some other things to consider. Also, I could not figure out power attacks. They seem so inconsistent. I feel stupid. Hopefully one of you nerds tests it around a lot and then can tell me how do power attacks exactly work. They don't seem to be doing 2.5 times damage every time. In Vanilla Oblivion, it was always 2.5 times damage, so I would just have this multiplier was 2.5. It would do 2.5 times damage. Unless you did the standing still power attack with at least 25 skill, it was times 3 damage, and that was your multiplier. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. One of you can figure that out. It's not in the UESP, so whatever. Skill experience. So I don't really have any math here because the skill experience is just a bar, but I tested going from 99 blade to 100 blade when blade was a major skill. It gave me the same experience to level up my character as going from 99 to 100 block, which is a minor skill. It's a bar though, not like numbers, so I can't give you any math. But that experience increase was a very large portion. It was close to like 40% of a level up when I was level 5. But when I was level 19, it was more like 1/10 of a level up. So I'm pretty sure that's just like Skyrim, where when you're low levels, you all skill ups just give you experience. Like going from level 17 to level 18 gives you 18 experience to your level up. And then as the game goes on, you need a lot more and more experience per level. So it seemed very similar to Skyrim now. Last, we got to talk about attributes. Normally I never efficiently leveled in Oblivion. So the new system, I'm gaining way more attributes than I ever gained in Vanilla Oblivion. It's not even close. A lot of times I would gain +2, +2, +2. So gaining 12 attributes is double that value. So for every race in Oblivion, you start with about 280 attributes. It's technically 270 if you add all these up, but you get to pick 2 favorite attributes, which puts +5 into them. And that's if I'm excluding luck. So I'm not really talking about luck. That means if I want to get everything, including personality, to 100, well, I need 420 more attribute gains. And at gaining 12 per level, that's only 35 level up. So by level 36, you would have 100 of everything, including personality. Which, if you've played Oblivion and played normally without like crazy efficient leveling, you've probably noticed by level 40, you don't even have 100 personality, or maybe a different attribute is still kind of low. I know for me, usually personalities, I'm just starting to put points into it by the time I get to level 40. So I have another 12 levels to go before maxing it out. And not only on top of that, let's say you play a warrior who cares about strength, endurance, and intelligence. If you put +4 into each of those, even if they only each start at 40, by level 16, you'll have the attributes you care about to 100. So I think attributes are going to level up a lot faster. Next, I want to talk about the difference luck makes. If you care about putting points into luck, well, then you would only get 8 other attributes because luck costs 4 virtues. And I don't think it's worth it, because then to get to 100 luck and 100 of all your other attributes, you would have to wait till level 54, because it'd basically be 52.5 level ups. At 52 level ups, you'd be 53, and you need 1/2 of a level up more, which is just crazy late game. And I don't think luck is really worth it that crazy late game, because all luck does is 40% of your luck is invisibly increasing all of your skills. And that's 40% above 50. So if you have 20 more luck, well, 40% of 20 is, what is that, 8? You'd have +8 to all of your skills invisibly. And that sounds good, but nothing does anything past 100 in this game. And that includes the damage formula. You cannot go above 100 strength or 100 blade. I tested this out as well, even in the remaster, that it doesn't do anything. More than 100 strength will give you more carry weight, but it will not give you more damage. I think that's all I really got. This is just me looking at a sample level 30 character. If I had a Breton, just had a random Breton, and I didn't care about luck, by level 30, I could have everything to 100 except personality, and one other attribute would be at 88, which is plenty high in my opinion. If I did care about luck, well then my agi was only 32, my speed was only 42, and I still haven't put any points into personality. Though I do have a big bonus to my luck. I mean, that's like what, plus 10 to all skills basically. That's a pretty big boost, but is that worth it? I don't think so, because level 30, by the time you get to level 30, the skills you really care about are at 100, and luck is not helping you anymore. And this was just me doing some math to figure that out. So I think that's all I got. I think the really big one is I really hope they add this formula into the UESP. It's nice to know, 2/3 of strength is added to my health and 4/3 of my endurance. And that minor skills give the same experience as major skills. I had commenters have to tell me that, and then I had to test it myself rather than being able to read it in the USP, which would be nice. And I know some people might be worried about, but what if we get things wrong? I know as recently as November of 2024, I updated the UESP of the regular vanilla Oblivion because someone was claiming that agility made lockpicking easier, and it never has. It doesn't do that. So people got things wrong all the time. People will still continue to get things wrong. I think it's a lot easier to prove something wrong than to test something out and figure out what the math is. So, like for example, if I got my formula here wrong, you can test it out really easy and say, oh, he's an idiot. That's not correct. Let's fix the UESP. And you might be saying, well, Old Knight, why don't you just update the UESP? Because I'm too busy. You do it. Come on. I'm the one making the video. Okay, now I'm just whining. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it.